Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you Grotmas Calendar Day 21 on Day 22. I think it's safe to say that the teams don't talk to each other very much. I'll probably make this a larger video because on one hand it feels like GW is listening. On the other hand, the way they set things up just set themselves up for failure. I have absolutely no clue what the fuck the person that wrote the article yesterday was on when they gave the hint that it'll be big and shiny things today. What are we talking about? I don't know why they did that, but at the same time, this is what everybody wanted the Cruit detachment to be. I think even the Cruit players would be like, well, I would have been fine with this. I think that maybe that's just me because as an appreciator, I feel bad being happy about what a lot of other people are upset about. I 100% agree. I don't think you needed two like auxiliary detachments, but this is exactly what I would want and the thing that I've been hoping for to get me into Tau, but I've just kind of given that as a all right, maybe 11th edition kind of thing. But now I have a good reason to commit to the bit. But this should have been the Codex one. I don't know why Cruit Hunting Peck is an entirely different one, and then why there's not one like everybody else got for Crusher Stampede type stuff, where like go through walls and I don't know. I don't know what's that, and then why the fuck did they write? It'll be. I hope you're ready for big and shiny things. Like you're not talking about an army that is known for having vehicles. I don't know what that was about, but I say all that to say that I have mixed feelings because we've dealt with this. I've dealt with this. Warrior Bioform Onslaught. I've found a lot of similarities here. Final Day for the GSC. It kind of plays the same, but except you don't have to buy a second book. I know a lot of the Grotmis detachments have been doing this whole play around another faction situation, but more so, this relates to Final Day, and the reason I relate to Warrior Bioform Onslaught is because hopefully after everybody's disappointment settles in or settle passes, not settles in, um, passes, you will be able to see some of the things that I hope to illuminate here through the tabs because I think people believe that it's weaker than it is and that there's more hoops to jump through than there actually is. Like it's kind of simple. We'll get to everything. Okay, it's not simple, but it's also not that complex. You just have to, I guess, to the same level as the Drukari one, but in a different way. So let's go further. If you're new around here, wondering where everybody is getting the rules and wondering where everybody's seeing everything, Warhammer Community downloads, this will be under Grotmis Detachment. So let's talk about auxiliary Cadre. Goodness, mouth is flubbed. Integrated command structure. Crude investment stingwing units from your army have the following ability. While an enemy unit is within 9 inches of and visible to this unit, each time a ranged attack made by a friendly Tau Empire model, excluding Crude, Vespid Stingwings, and Titanic models, targets that enemy unit, improve the AP characteristic of that attack by 1. Tau Empire units, excluding Crude and Vespid Stingwing, from your army have the following ability. Localized stealth projectors. While a friendly Cruit or Vespid Stingwings unit is wholly within 6 inches of and visible to this unit, that Cruit or Vespid Stingwings unit can only be selected as the target of a ranged attack if the attacking model is within 18 inches. I know that sounds terribly complex, and this is another thing that I'm wondering why GW does this to themselves. It didn't need all of these words just for there to still be a but wait, because you placed a comma here, this, that, whatever, so point blank period if you have Cruit and Vespid next to the enemy and visible within 9 inches, all your shit that aren't those two things or Titanic gets AP plus 1. And then Tau, on the other hand, that aren't the auxiliaries, will give a 6-inch aura to the auxiliaries of lone op 18 inches, as long as they're visible to that unit and for the Cruit to the enemy unit visible there too. don't really feel that the visible part needs to be tacked on, but well, I take that back. I know why it's there because without it, this would be pretty fucking busted. I know nobody's going to believe me when I say that right now, but give it a month when you actually think about what we just read. If they made it so that you didn't have to be visible, this would be abuse to all hell. This would be the strongest Tau. Whoopsie, Freudian slip there. The strongest Tau detachment if visibility wasn't needed. So that's there to have counterplay. But we'll get there in a second. Student of Kalyan, 15 points, Cruit Shaper model only. In the Declare Battle Formation step, you can select up to 3 Cruit Carnivores or Cruit Firestalkers units from your army. Models in those units have the Deep Strike ability. You know, I felt stupid saying that maybe the Blood Angel should have just made anybody go up and, you know, if they have a jump pack, they can do it from engagement range. Because I was like, well, how are they going to deep strike? How is that going to happen? How the fuck are the Cruit deep striking? Are they just. How are they doing it? Did they eat something that gave them wings? Like Red Bull give them wings? I don't know. I don't know, but, you know, they're deep striking. And I guess technically Trigons and Molochs can deep strike from underground, so maybe they dug a hole or some shit. I don't know, but for 15 points, I think it's okay. It's a nice filler. I don't think you build around it, but you won't be mad at it. Admired Leader, 20 points. Tau Empire model, excluding Cruit. In your command phase, you can select one Cruit or Vespid Stingwings unit within a foot of the bearer. If you do, improve the start until the start of your next command phase. Improve the leadership characteristic of models in that unit by 1. And while such a unit is not battle shock, +1 to the OC. 20 points. I don't think you take that even on the worst days. It's not bad. It's just unnecessary. I mean, I guess for 20 points you can make Cruut Hounds have OC without needing other Cruut. But that seems like a lot for a little. So yeah, this is. I don't know. That could have been tacked on to here, if I'm being honest. Then we could talk about complicated. Fanatical Convert, 10 points. Cruit model only. The Bears unit has the For the Greater Good ability. See Codex Tau Empire. I like this. I really like this. I thought I liked it more. I'll take that back. I don't like it less. I thought I would like what it could go on more, but so far I am not as high up on it. And I think I'll just say it now. I was thinking about putting this on a lone spear, but I don't think it'll do much. I think I'd rather have the 100 points in a different way, or I guess the 90. The 10 here gives the 100, but yeah, I think I'd rather do it somewhere else. For now, I could be wrong. Transponder, Lock module, 25 points. Tau Empire Walker model with the Deep Strike ability only. Bear's unit can be set up using Deep Strike used and during the reinforcement step of your first, second, or third movement phase, regardless of any mission rules. During your first movement phase, when you set up the Bear's unit, it must be set up within a foot of one or more friendly Cruut or Vespid units and not within 9 inches horizontally of one or more of the enemy units. This is one that I will say fair play. There's way too many hoops to jump through for 25 points. If I'm spending 25 points, let me do the fucking thing. I don't know why you have to be within a foot of Cruit or Vespid. I mean, I get the flavor, but I think that was a flavor overhaul. I think you just let flavor overwrite the rules to a certain point. You could have just made this that unit can deep strike during the first or second, third, and could have called it anything like transponder module. I don't know. Lock module, whatever, to keep out the fact that you need to be following the alien auxiliaries. Like that's a bit much for 25 points. So out of the enhancements, Student of Kalyan's cool. Fanatical Convert is, I don't want to say a staple, but more likely to be taken. It is only 10 points too. And this one on a rainy day. Fuck this one. Experimental modifications, and I know somebody's going to come back with an example of how they got great value out of fucking Admired Leader and be like, yeah, eat shit. And I'll be like, you're right, my bad. Experimental modifications. Your shooting phase or the fight phase. One Cruit or Vespid Stingwings unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot or fight this phase until the end of the phase improve the AP characteristic of weapons equipped by models in your unit by 1. I've seen this be a talking point as to why the confusion happens, but pretty much it's saying, hey, the Cruit can give the Tau plus 1 AP. If you want them to get AP themselves, you have to use ACP. It's pretty straightforward. Pheromone waypoints, your movement phase. One Cruit or Vespid Stingwing unit from your army that has not been selected to move this phase. Until the end of the phase, each time your unit advances, auto advance 6. Cool. That's pretty nice for Cruit or Vespid to just immediately help you turn on your army for a target. Nice. Multi-sensory scanning. Your shooting phase or the fight phase. One Tau Empire unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot or fight this phase. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack, reroll wound rolls of 1. If it is a Cruit or Vespid Stingwings unit, you can reroll the wound roll instead. I have a theory, but it's a working theory that I've also said on the AdMech video you don't know isn't out yet. Yeah. We'll come back to this, but this is probably better than people will first catch. Um, Hell, this part maybe too, but not to the same extent as part 1. Alien expertise. Your movement phase. One Tau Empire unit from your army. Until the end of the turn, your unit is eligible to shoot in a turn in which it advanced. If it is a Cruit or Vespid Stingwings unit, until the end of the turn, your unit is eligible to declare charge in a turn in which it advanced as well. So, advance and shoot. So, assault on anything. If it's Cruit or Vespid Stingwings, you get to charge after that. Nice. Interlocking maneuvers. End of the fight phase, excuse me. It's a maneuver phase. One Tau Empire unit from your army that was eligible to fight this phase. If your unit is not within engagement range of one or more enemy units, it can make a normal move of up to 6 inches. Otherwise, you can make a fallback move. It cannot embark within a transport at the end of this move if it is disembarked from a transport this turn. If it disembarked from a transport this turn. Any Tau Empire unit. Now, is this game breaking and feels a loophole like we saw on the Dark Angel's heroic intervention strat? No, not quite. However, this gives you the ability to now go into your phase, your turn, without having to make a fallback move and turning your shit online, or just giving a normal move to possibly get into a transport and a turn that it didn't pop out of it. So you have your Devilfish that your breachers came out of the previous turn, but instead of taking your turn to put them into the transport and then making a move, you can put them into the transport at the end of the fight phase and then go about your merry way that way, right? So all fine and dandy. It's really nice. The fallback move is probably the biggest part where you don't have to waste the possibility of something like your fuck it, we'll just say Storm Surge for right now. Your Storm Surge making a fallback move and then not being able to fall back and shoot. Even though I know it wouldn't have needed to fall back with some of the guns, but if you want to do something with like blast weapons or whatever. And to that extent, I guess a better would be a hammerhead that got charged, right? So there's that. Guided fire. Your shooting phase. One Tau Empire unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase. Until the end of the phase, add 1 to the strength characteristic of ranged weapons equipped by models in your unit. If your unit is wholly within 9 inches of one or more Cruit or Vespid Stingwings unit from your army, add 2 to the strength characteristic of ranged weapons equipped by models in your unit instead. With guided fire, if things are going right, that's plus 2 strength, plus 1 AP. Ignoring the fact that something else can be guiding you to give you ignore cover and a better ballistic skill, right? Or observing for you. Yeah, guiding you. This is. I know right now it doesn't seem very great, but consider the fact that you don't have to do anything for, oh, it's just turn 1, 2, and 3, or 3, 4, and 5. Consider the fact that it works on things on pretty much your entire army. Something here works on your entire army compared to just battle suits. They already had the battle suit situation with Riptide. I know it just took a hit with Deep Strike being Omega nerfed. I shouldn't say Omega nerfed. I'm also salty about the Trigon. That's why I say Omega. But they got nerfed pretty hard. So that's where that comes into play. But if you do want to just do battle shoot stuff, you have it over there. I don't really know why they didn't give a hammerheads, storm surges, da 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 da, whatever. However, what would they have done? Most things have fly. Yeah, it'd be nice for a storm surge to go through a wall, but it also has you can move over things that are like 4 inches or less in height. So with this, you can advance and do storm surge things and give it +2 strength on all of its weapons that you kit it out with. I'm going to get to all the tabs, but overall, I know right now it might not seem like it, but the same way, this is why I talk about Warrior Bioform Onslaught, we already knew that giving an Exocrine +2 strength would be at least okay. Um, the argument comes from, could I not do that somewhere else? Could I not get more AP from somewhere else? There's ways to do that in other detachments, but how many detachments will let you have +2 strength, +1 AP, do a reactive move, maybe embark upon a transport in your opponent's phase while keeping the auxiliaries safe because of some other things? And I know Tau players seem to not really care about their auxiliaries, but now you have a sick reason to bring the full 10-man of the Vespich Thingwin. But all of that out the way, let's talk about why I have so many fucking tabs open. Commander Farsight. While this model is leading a unit, each time modeling a unit makes an attack that targets an enemy unit within 9 inches, add 1 to the wound roll. And then, once per battle round, you can target this model's unit with a stratagem. If it does, reduce the cost of that stratagem by 1 CP. I guess I'll spoil it now. We will talk about the other half in the tabs later. I'm a little bit salty because I made a video talking about a Riptide list idea where you combine both of the commanders, Farsight and Shadowsun. That way they benefit things in Riptide for the up close and the da 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 da. But that's what this is looking to shape up now. You send Farsight, and we'll get to which battle shoots in a second, up with something like the Tox Rampages and Vespid Stingwings and shit like that. And then the other shit that wants to hang back can be with Shadowsun. So that's what I'm seeing right now. And I know you might be wondering, how many fucking points can you fit? I'm not gonna lie, I was looking at some list making. You can fit surprisingly a decent amount of stuff for some of these ideas. So Farsight, first up. If you take Star Scythe battle suits, there's the potential with their Star Scythe, each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack, improve the AP characteristic of that attack by 1 if you aren't targeting monsters or vehicles. You can fall back and shoot with the battle suit support system. With this Crisis Star Scythe battle suits, you can have 6d6 flamers. With the stratagem, take this to strength 6. And with the detachment rule, another 1 AP, so 6d6, strength 6, AP, 2 damage, 1 attacks, +1 to wound if within 9. For putting that with Farsight. That doesn't sound too bad. Doesn't sound bad at all if you ask me, because each one of them can have 2 flamers. And then you don't spend a CP because you're attached to Farsight for guided fire. That's pretty nice. And at the cost of being around cruit, and the cruit being around the enemy invisible with your deep striking unit of battle suits and Farsight, yeah, 6d6 Strength 6, AP 2, damage 1 plus 1 to wound. You can just skip the whole step of needing something to guide for you with just a bunch of crude or Vespid Stingwings that also could deep strike around for you. Fire Knives. Now we go to a different option. Each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack, reroll a hit roll of 1. If the attack targets a unit that is at its starting strength, you can reroll the entire hit roll instead. Each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack with the weapon support system, you can ignore mods to the hit roll. That's fine. But with something like the plasma rifle, personally, I don't think I like the volume of shots for this idea. However, if you do kit out full plasma rifles, if somebody's visible to, if the cruit and the enemy can see each other basically, and you can see the enemy, it's a different way of spotting. Now you have AP4, damage 3, and then you can take the strength to strength 10. That's pretty nice. I guess I should also pull up Cold Star and Enforcer. That way you have something else if you want to go this route. Because it won't just be Farsight for more than one unit. With the Commander and Cold Star battle suit, you will be able to have a move characteristic of 12 inches for all the models in the unit. Take those up to 12. And they will gain Assault. So if they have a move of 12 and Assault, you can probably keep up with the other shit that you need to, like the Cruit. And with Enforcer, each time, while this model is leading a unit, each time a ranged attack targets that unit, worsen the AP characteristic of that attack by 1. Armor of Contempt on demand, you don't, well, I shouldn't say on demand, Armor of Contempt for ranged attacks. You don't really have to worry about too many shots, I guess, if you put this on, but doesn't really help your game plan extend anymore. So we'll take out Enforcer and leave Cold Star. Vespid Stingwings. At the end of your opponent's turn, if this unit is not within engagement range of one or more enemy units, you can remove it from the battlefield and place it into strategic reserves. So, Vespid Stingwings, you have a unit, and if you go to the full 10-man, you now can equip a Tau Flamer, a Neutron Grenade Launcher, and the Neutron Rail Rifle. That are all of these, and they're actually pretty decent. And once per battle with the Oversight Drone, when you have 10 models, you get Ignores Cover. You have a unit that can pick itself up if it's not within engagement range, and you have a unit that can scoot back possibly into a vehicle between a stratagem and bringing Vespids. So I think you are already bringing Vespids. I think this is a decent argument for the 10-man if you want to boost their AP up by 1 for whatever target that's going into it. You also have a CP or a stratagem to do that, right? So that's cool. Then everybody was talking about the Tox Rampages, and at first I didn't see it because all I remembered was the charge situation where each time this unit ends a charge move, select one enemy unit within engagement range of it, roll 1d6 for each model in this unit that is within engagement range of that unit. 4-ups, the enemy unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. If one or more models are destroyed as a result of those mortal wounds, the enemy unit must take a battle shock test. Cool. We'll start breaking down the lines. It has Assault, so that's nice. You get an auto advance 6. You can use your pistols on them, but there's no advance and charge on that one, so probably not. However, the close combat weapons do have lance, and the Crutox Fist are extra attacks with sustained hits 1. So, again, you can boost this to AP2, or with the stratagem, have lance and reroll wound rolls, the entire wound, because it is a Cruit model. Or a Cruit unit, specifically, right? So, that's pretty nice. Oh, that's right. Sorry. There is advance and charge with alien expertise. So, yeah, advanced shoot and charge for the Kouto Rampagers, possibly plus 1 AP, or re-rolling the wounds to make benefits of that lance. So, we like that. The Warshaper, I think, is probably going to be the most likely shaper, because one, it's, well, they're all fairly cheap. But you will have the ability to reduce the CP for the unit, so now you don't feel as bad for trying to use some of the shit. And Root of Honor, once per battle, at the start of any phase, you can select one friendly Cruit unit that is battle shocked, and within a foot of this model, that unit is no longer battle shocked. That's just handy to have. Your Cruit don't have the best leadership. This will save you from having to use the enhancement to make their leadership better. I feel warshapers are probably going to be the go-to option. And the other go-to option, I believe, crude fire stalkers. If you give them infiltrate and stealth, you already have something up the board that can start looking at enemies within 9 inches and turn on your entire army rule. It's easier to put out than scouts as well. So far stalkers, excuse me, with the warshaper seems like a good to combo. Don't really give too much of a shit about what they're doing, I believe. That's just my humble opinion. Other thing to note about the Warshaper, you can go Warshaper and drop Farsight and go Ethereals. That would be a way to manage CP better, kind of, in a way. But I think Cruit, Warshaper, and Farsight so far is more appealing from what I initially see. For stalkers, at the start of the battle, select one unit from your opponent's army. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack that targets that unit, lethal hits and precision, you can have a way to get ignores cover. Yeah. Again, we're not here for a great. We're not here for a long time or a good time. We're here for a time. We're here for a time to make everybody else have a good time. Cruit hounds. This is one that I know everybody's going to look for immediately, and it's cheap, so I'm not going to dissuade you from that. However, I just don't know. I found in some of the lists that everything with Cruit, most things have scout or um, infiltrate, so I don't really find that I need to terribly the additional Cruit units in the list. So with Cruit Hounds, at the start of your command phase, if this unit is within 6 inches of one or more friendly Cruit infantry units, then until the end of the turn, you have access to advance and charge, which I don't want too many infantry units, so 40 points to make advance and charge. I'm not necessarily too keen on it. Hunting Hounds, while this unit is within a foot of one or more friendly Cruit character models, the objective control characteristic of models in this unit is 1. That's fine. And again, that's just my initial takes. I'm not too high up on the Cruit Hounds. I know 250 Cruit Hounds might be unstoppable. But for right now, during list making, I feel that the stuff in Tau are kind of cheap, right? So it was just 40 or 80 points that were better spent on maybe a Devil Fist, if we're looking at, 2 units of that. Cadre Fireblade. Volley fire, while this model is leading a unit, add 1 to the attack characteristic of ranged weapons equipped by models in that unit. Each time this model makes a ranged attack on a critical wound, that attack has an AP characteristic of -3. And of course, Breachers. Each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack that targets an enemy within range of an objective marker, you can re-roll the wound roll. In your movement phase, if this unit remains stationary until the start of your next movement phase, its Fire Warrior /We model is equipped with the support turret missile system weapon. There we go. Yeah, you're bringing breachers with pulse blasters. Maybe make that. Oh, I don't know. Take that up to 1, so 3, 10, 30, strength 8, AP2, damage 1 shots, re-rolling wounds. Yeah, I think you're bringing breachers, and that's the other thing. This clearly was just a straight up lie about the big and shiny things. If you just take Cadre Fireblades, breacher teams, bunch of fucking Cruit, or, enough Cruit, and Vespid Stingwings, a lot of shit will just have a bad time against you for relatively cheap. Not saying that's the main angle you have to go, but fuck. I don't know why we tried to sell it like the little things wouldn't be benefiting the most here. Commander Shadow Sun. Hello to the other side of what I believe to do. You have the offensive side. Now we get into the defensive side. With Shadow Sun, this model is eligible to shoot in a turn in which it fell back, infiltrate, low and up stealth, Hero of the Empire. While a friendly Tau Empire unit is within 6 inches of this model, each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack, reroll a hit roll of 1. With Advanced Guardian Drone, each time a ranged attack targets the bear, subtract 1 from the wound roll. So, with Shadow Sun, you can have two things being low up next to each other because of, in this detachment, Crude and Vespid next to Tau become low up. So, low up 18 specifically, right? -1 to wound. Command Link Drone Aura. While a friendly Tau Empire unit is within 6 inches of the bear, each time you select that unit as the target of a stratagem, roll 1d6. On a 5 up, you gain 1 CP. Another way to just keep the CP flowing, and you are having access to things that are going to make ranged attacks but can't be shot in this one. Such as, did I do this right? I did. Tox Riders. I didn't realize that they have a 36-inch gun. And for 3 models at 90 points, rapid fire 2 or blast heavy, that's a price I'm willing to pay when they can't get shot. And then they have Cruit pack makes, scouts 7 inches, whatever, right? Once per turn in your opponent's shooting phase, while a friendly Cruit infantry unit within 6 inches of this unit is selected as the target of an attack, 1 unit from your army with this ability can use it. If it does, after that enemy unit has finished making its attacks, that unit with this ability can shoot as if it were your shooting phase, but when resolving those hits, it can only target that enemy unit, and only if it is an eligible target. Now, this says it can shoot as if it were your shooting phase. I need to check some specifications, but you might be able to still use some stratagems during that, but I have to triple check that. However, with the Tox Riders, next to Shadow Sun, you give them blast heavy tangle cannons. Yeah, you're not getting the AP initially. If you want to spend a CP, you can take this to AP 1, right? Rerolling hits, you can figure out if you want reroll wounds as well. And you just do the damn thing. And if you are within 6 inches of some other Crude infantry that gets shot at, you can turn on and they still can't shoot at you outside of 18 inches. Tox Riders, everybody. Then, the Hammerhead Gunship. Hang back, it's a vehicle that flies. It is not an aircraft. Each time this model makes an attack that targets a monster vehicle, add 1 to the hit roll. Each time this model is selected to shoot, you can reroll 1 hit roll, or you can reroll 1 wound roll when resolving those attacks. If you are next to Shadow Sun, you get hit rerolls anyway. If you want more than 1 wound reroll, you have multi-sensory scanning to reroll wound rolls of 1. But if it is fine, you'll be fine. You're probably second Hammerhead Gunship, rerolls, wound rolls of 1. So, that's nice. Also, if it's the ion cannon, you have blast, 60 inches, d6 plus 3, strength, hidden on 4, strength 7, AP1, damage 2. That can become AP2 and strength 9, right? If you want to overcharge, it goes to strength 10 at AP3, damage 3, d6 plus 3, blast. Like, that's nice. I don't think you take the railguns for this situation. I think you would just look for the ion cannons while still having two seeker missiles in the back pocket, and your choice of the twin pulse carbines, the accelerator burst cannons, or the 2 smart missile systems. This is a play that I'm kind of experimenting, because I think this will come out before the AdMech video, so no real spoiler, I guess. No, I take that back. This will be 100% a spoiler. But looking at Call next to Scorpius Disintegrators for pretty much the same strategy. Ironic that they're both the Supreme Commander, I guess. And I guess not ironic at the same time, because that's not technically irony. Anyway, weird that they're both the Supreme Commander of their respective factions, where you would get the rerolls and just use something that doesn't necessarily have to be shot at or has great range, while you can't target Shadow Sun and you can't target the Tox Riders. So if something finally tries to come into range, you fire Overwatch with 3 models of 3d6 plus 3 on tangle cannons. re-rolling hit rolls of 1, yeah, fuck them. And you have hammerheads firing down long, re-rolling, and they can't come get Shadow Sun either. Don't even care about this profile too much until the shit really gets tough, right? So that's kind of nasty. Ghost kills. I thought this was funny. Twice per battle, after an attack has been allocated to this model, you can change the damage characteristic of the attack to 0. Now, that's not the funny part. The funny part is that this is a vehicle that has infiltrating, lone up, and stealth. So, you can make a fucking vehicle lone up, and then the cruit around it, or the Vespid Stingwings, lone up as well. So who the fuck is getting shot right now? While they've infiltrated. So, that's pretty decent. I would assume you go with the cyclic Ion Raker, because you can boost that AP and boost the strength as well to some, better variable of shots. However, I could understand arguments for still going with the Fusion Collider. And then the last one, that last realistic one, I guess, the Riptide. You are probably bringing the Riptide. That way, in a turn that you have already blown the devastating wounds, you can just kick up the AP on some shit and make it feel like it's devastating all over again. Taking something like AP3 to AP4, yeah, it's one shot, but hell, if it goes to AP5, fuck them. So, that's pretty nice. And let's talk about the Storm Surge. You can still take the Storm Surge here. You can take all of these weapons up to an additional strength, up by 2 strength. The AP won't work because it's Titanic. But you can also assault the unit, or give the unit assault, to get into position and just stay there for 400 points. Strength 2 on whatever weapons you have attached, and this long list and options. And just go to town. You will be missing AP, which is odd that the Storm Surge has like none of that, because you can't give them AP in either way. So that's a bit of a miss on that one, not going to lie. But at the same time, you can give it reroll wound rolls of 1, and if you're doing the same Shadow Sun situation, reroll hit rolls of 1, ignore modifiers to hit rolls, reroll wound rolls of 1 for whatever profiles on a Titanic unit. Yeah, that's okay for 400 points. So, yeah, I get it. I don't know why they set themselves up for people being angry at them, but besides the point, this is actually fairly good. I think once everybody lets everything pass, this is actually going to be helpful for the metas that we're looking at, where we're seeing a lot of melee infantry doing nasty things with something like Champion of Bile. Don't know what the World Eaters one is yet at the time of recording, but we've seen Champions of Bile. Creations of Bile. I'm thinking about Champions of Faith. Creations of Bile already winning shit. There's another one that I'm blanking right now that is doing mean things. We are going to be seeing probably a bit more of Bridgehead Strike than people might realize right now. But yeah, there's a couple of options of things on the horizon. Yes, I'm excluding Star Shatter because, if I'm being honest, with these other things arising, I'm more scared of Solar Spearhead out of Adeptus Custodes. So, yeah, if you like the video, like it. Got a comment for me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.